Okay, folks, we're going to do a little interesting thing here. I've been having these audio problems on my motorcycle programs because the GoPro, it seems as though if you keep it straight, then the wind noise is less, nearly non-existent. The microphone's on the top of the GoPro, and it's just an itty-bitty hole. Now, I solved that at one time because I had an extra piece of foam that had a sticky back on it, and I just stuck it on top of the hole. Wind noise goes away. That's fine, but we vary the speeds on a motorcycle, and when I get out a little more, we're going to be going faster because I run around town. My son laughs at me because he says, "You're always going 18 miles an hour." Yeah, but it's all residential and going around the lake, which the speed limit at the lake is 20. So 18 mile an hour is within reason. But there are these things that I want to do that are going to get me on roads that have higher speed limits. And I want to be able to use the same footage where some of the footage is clear as a bell at, under 20 mile an hour, or if there's not an added 40 mile an hour wind to the 20 mile an hour you're going and you're heading into the wind. Now you're talking 60 mile an hour wind. It's hard to get around that. I have kind of created something that might work, and because I have used it before, but I have this set of I-12 is what they call it. You can look it up on Google, but it's much similar to a whatever they call them, Apple iPods or iPod, whatever it is. But anyway, but considerably cheaper. They're like $25, and they work very well. Now, it's not the best set I have. I have a really good set that I keep by my main TV when I want to watch an explosion movie, with lots of shooting and killing and raping and pillaging and all that stuff. And I don't want everybody to disturb everybody in the house. So I put in the good set. They're those kinds with the rubber around it, and that's the only thing that'll stick in my ear. These things fall out of my ear. Just fall out. And they never tell you they do. But I have a plan for that. These little, what do you call them? Yeah, they're kind of earmuffs. And people use them for if it's cold outside and you want to cover your ears. But it just wraps around your head. Well, that right there will keep these in my ear. Got it? Okay. Under a helmet. The helmet even adds to it. Now, these things do gestures. Is what they call them. But the gestures is, I believe, over this little hole right here. And it's like having a button. One turns the music on or answers the phone. One tap on either one does the same thing, activates it. Two taps, what does two taps do? I forget. Two taps is volume. And they put the right one, two taps on it, raises the volume, right, raise, and the left one lowers the volume, left, lowers the volume. pretty ingenious. Even I can remember that, and I can't remember whether I tied my shoes this morning. I don't have any shoes on. This is early in the morning for me. I just had this genius attack, and I have those from time to time. And I decided, okay, so what if I get my audio while I'm riding on the bike from a different source? Or have it in two sources, because the GoPro is going to do the audio anyway. And so my thought was to do them both. Now, the way I'm going to experiment with this is on your iPhone, there's a thing called voice memo, and you can record. And you think, oh my God, I don't want to take a file from another device, drop it into iMovie, and then have to figure out how to lip sync everything. Well, I was on YouTube, where I'm spending a lot of time right now, and one guy says to clap. And if I've got this on voice memo, and I've got the GoPro recording me, that clap is a little jerk in all of the little squigglies that they show you. The oscillations is what they really are, but in all those recordings. So if you're ready to start something, then you can just clap. And then you'll see it on both of them. Line those suckers up, and then pick out which recording did it better, because you're recording it twice. Not a bad idea. So I'm going to put it to the test. And what I'm going to do is go to voice memo, which I already had on, there. And pretty simple little ditty. It's just a red button, that starts it and stops it. And so what I should do is, okay, I start this one. Here's a new recording. The iPhone's recording. iPhone's got great microphones in it. I could do this with that, possibly. But it's got the same wind problems, So I can't have the iPhone on the bike out there in the wind and the camera right next to it, or on my head, either one, out there in the wind. I think I'd have the same freaking recording. But if I use these attached to the iPhone, now I'm getting a clear recording, or clearer, because it's going to have this as a muffler, and volumes you can change as needed, So I'm thinking, all right, so I've got the recording going on the iPhone, and it is recording right now. So what I'd like to do is just experiment with this with a clap. Oh, it showed up as a straight line. A straight line, one line is what the clap was. Pretty easy to get that lined up with another clap that'll be on the GoPro. Ingenious. When that guy said that, I said, hell yes, because it's a timeline, and it's the time it takes. So it's not going to get out of sync. And the nice thing about it is, what I was missing, I want to have the engine noise, because some of these things I'm doing, I want to tell you by the engine noise on the bike whether I'm ripping and getting it, or downshifting, or whatever the hell I'm doing, or fast braking. Some of these things, I want you to hear the engine. These motorcycle people all want to hear that motor. And so this might be a way to do it. But this experiment is merely to see if I can sync two voice things at once. And so now I'm going to turn the iPhone recording off, and I'm going to shut this down on this recording, and I will put them together in iMovie, and we'll come back to it. Oh, I love the way everybody does this. They put their hand on top of it to say that's all. That's all. They put their hand on top of it, and then they cut it where it looks really cool. That's really neat. I love the way people do this stuff. And I'm a techno guy. Always have been. I've been in computers since 1970. So I love all the gadgets, and I'm afraid I'm not going to live long enough to see where this goes. But the stuff I've got now is pretty cool. All right, see you. Okay. Just wanted to tell you about voicemail. And not too concerned about lighting and stuff like that. So this may not turn out very well, may not even be usable. I'm on the iPad mini, which I have on a swivel, on an armature thing, so that I can swivel it out of my way and use it for some things. I'm ate up with Apple stuff. There's my iPhone. Yeah. Handy. And of course, if I really want to make a living on something, is a MacBook Air. Fabulous machine. Pricey, always pricey. But this voice memo, it turns out there's a gazillion ways to export it. Now, voicemail is just a cheapy little program that you can get for free. And, you can have it on your Android. Everybody's got some sort of voice recording software. So you can use this plan that I have where you're clapping your hands just to sync up a video and have several copies of the same video from different devices. But turns out there's a lot of ways to export it. You can export it to files, which in effect gets you just like the MacBook, where you have folders and all that stuff that you can do. So, and at any time, once I get it in files on my iPhone, then I can airdrop it to the MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. So that's no big deal. I'm not too concerned with lighting and stuff like that. Computer, turn on the fan. But there's a little more light. I got this big light behind me, I see that. But maybe this will work for our purposes. But anyway, that's what you need to know about voicemail is, can you get it out of there? If you can get it out of there, then you can get it in your, I'm using iMovie, but in whatever software you've got that you edit your videos with, always lets you drop it right on the timeline. And then moving it on the timeline to sync it up with another clap, which is a straight line. Then the rest of it from then on is synced together. So you can pick the best one. iMovie gives you the option to detach the audio from the video and use it as a separate item, and cut it and paste it and lengthen it or whatever the heck you want to do. Very handy to have that capability. So I'm planning to get both of these audio files, one from the GoPro and one from the iPhone, and see if I can run them in tandem at the same time, see what they sound like, see what the differences of their sound is, the volume controls and stuff like that, how they came out. Were they muffled or whatever? This iPad mini's, I'm on the cheapest camera, the one on the front, and I have no idea how the microphone works on this thing, so we'll see that too. All right, back in a minute. We'll get this put together. Well, this got to be too long, and so I'm going to sign off this time. Catch me on the next video. Subscribe if you can. It helps me a lot. Give me a thumbs up. And I hear there's some way to donate. I have no idea how that works. But you know, this stuff is expensive. Thank you so much. This is just another part of the adventures of an old man and his Honda Super Cub. See you on the next one.